my chair is so squeaky. So it's a new year, brings new toys. It is not the new year though by the time I post this, it probably will be. What's really cool is Shozy Store was nice enough to send me a couple of new figures for free, and so I'm gonna take a look at them today. Don't worry though, all the opinions are completely mine. These are the first figures I've gotten out of this set. There's 8 of them that combine into a very stylized version of Predaking. I want to make sure that these guys actually stand alone as their own characters and not just as a combiner, because to me that's just not a lot of fun. We're gonna take a look at Rusirius first, which is a wolf. Now I'm gonna let you know right now that on camera I'm not gonna ever turn him into his 3rd combiner mode. He does turn into a foot, and I actually think that's a pretty cool idea for one of the elements of the combiner to turn into a foot as their designated 3rd alt mode. I can admit the aesthetics, they're quite nice. They're very sharp. He comes with this gun thing. It's a gun, but it does end up becoming the tail, and you can tell. The articulation on this guy is fine, I guess, but when it comes to the knee joints and the hip joints and stuff like that, that's where I actually run into one of my major problems that I have with this figure, which is that a lot of the joints, especially the heavier ones like the hip joints, are really, really squeaky. It's really loud. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. That's a major dock on point. The head sculpt on this guy is really cool. I'm kind of a sucker of like the whole visor face mask things, the whole generic non-actual face. Anytime anyone has that, I'm a sucker for it. So the transformation on this thing, for now, suffices to say that it is actually pretty simple, and it comes to a very decent looking wolf mode. This is where it really shined in the whole Zoids look, because it looks just like those Zoids creatures. I don't know the actual nomenclature of the terminology, so sorry. You can't go wrong if you're displaying this in either the bot mode or the beast mode, and that's something really good that I can say about this set, is both modes do look good. As far as unboxing is concerned, the package, straight 10 out of 10 experience. It has a foam bed, which I am a massive advocate. Let's talk about Thorilla for a second. This is the stupidest. That's so dumb. I wasn't expecting just how big he would be. I mean, he is full masterpiece size scale. That's something I like about these figures is the paint isn't like overly shiny or overkill. It's more like a matte finish of gold and silver. The articulation on this guy, okay, so I'll just say it's not very good, but who cares, I think, is the question. I know you probably don't. I know I don't really, because it's not like you're gonna do a whole lot posing this guy anyways. He's one of those characters on your shelf that just stands there in like an A stance pose and looks super cool doing that. Again, all the joints on this figure as well are super loose. There's a lot more ratchets on him, so there is a lot less squeaking. Just so you know, this set did come with a lot of accessories, and I mean a lot of them. I'm not going to show most of them in this video because most of them do pertain to that combine mode as far as like securing and locking things into place. And I think one of the things that, if you're really into combiners, that may be a little disappointing to you, is that there is a lot of accessories that just kind of hang around that don't do anything except for designated for combine mode. So on the topic of accessories, he has this giant hammer. It's really, really big. It's not my favorite. The handle's really thin, like the entire handle of the thing, and the hammer itself is just a little too big for my taste. Once again, getting Thorilla transformed into his gorilla mode, it's just a bigger, different gorilla head. Flip the chest around with shorter legs and bigger fists, and that's what this is. For me, it's not the mode that I'd ever consider displaying it in, whereas I would with Rusirius consider displaying him in the wolf mode. This guy would go in his robot mode for me. Now, aside from the squeaky joints that I've mentioned that mainly Rusirius has, the biggest issue I have with this set is something that I kind of call the G Creations feel. G Creations is a third-party company that made the G1 style Dinobot set. It's kind of a really, really bad set. There's 2 main reasons for that. One, they don't feel very good. A lot of the joints are very squeaky, and I'm not a fan of that. And secondly, it just has an overall frustrating quality to it. Transforming them, it's actually very painful. Literally speaking, painful. There's so many sharp edges on it, makes you dig your nail under so many things. Everything's too tight on it. I don't want to scare you away from this Cang toy set because it's not nearly as bad. You know, the transformations, for one thing, are significantly more simple. That was one of the compliments I had for Rusirius. That being said, it did give me flashbacks to that same very sharp design and painful aesthetic. Something to mention on more of a neutral ground is the fact that these figures are big and they're pretty good quality, but they're not super heavy. They're somewhat lightweight. The reason I put this in the neutral zone though is because I'm almost glad that they are. If this is going to be a combined set with 8 different figures, and based off of the size of these alone, this thing's going to be absolutely massive. They should be a little bit lighter, and that's probably a good thing. And then in addition to that, something to note is just how stylized these are. If you're looking at this set and you're really into the style, then ignore everything I'm saying. But if you're like me, you're kind of on the edge of wanting to want them, all I'd say is do your due diligence in figuring out if it's what you want, because if it's not, then you're going to invest a lot of money in something that's not really your thing. For me personally, it doesn't fit in with any aesthetics I like, but beyond that, I've never been into anime. There's, once again, a lot of good things about this set. Like I said, there's a lot lot of really good paint on it. Overall, the figures are high quality. The sculpts themselves, if it's your style, is a very cool version of that style. To me, it's the perfect version of what they're going for. But going back to the beginning, the original question that I have that I'm trying to answer is A, whether this set is worth it if you're not really into this specific style, and B, whether this 2-pack of figures stands on its own as good figures without its combiner counterpart. Question A for me is probably a no. I can't say the rest of it is specifically my cup of tea. That being said, if you are visually into the set, if you see pictures of it online and it looks like your thing and you really want it and you're trying to figure out if the quality is there, the answer is yes. And question number 2 or B is also probably a no for me. Stylistically, they don't fit in with frankly anything. There's no Transformers that have ever been made that this fits into the style of. But again, that doesn't mean it's not going to be worth it as a set. I'm going to give them a solid 6 out of 10. They're good figures. Let me know though, if you're looking to get all in this set, I am not going to discourage it, and I'm really interested to see how he looks as a fully combined unit. Once again, I do want to thank Shozy Store for sending these figures to me. It was really nice of them, and I love being able to check these out. So even though it's not for me specifically, I love being able to tell you guys and give my recommendation based off of it. Make sure to check this set out and the rest of this combined set in the description. There's a link to them down below. But yeah, that's my review for today. Later, guys.